Welcome back. One thing we've established during this pandemic is there are two kinds of people living through it. Those of us who are considered essential and those of you who are considered non-essential. This is not intended to discount the seriousness of the disease or to diminish the lives that we lost. You may have been laid off or had your hours cut back. Maybe you're working from home. Maybe you feel like you can't quite contribute to the office culture in the same way you did when you were working in the office because you're trying to balance your job and childcare at home at the same time. Now, these are the people who've been called non-essential by some. They are expected to wait out the pandemic and hope for a vaccine. At least that's what politicians like Joe Biden say. But if your family is still counting on you to pay the mortgage or bring home groceries, we'd say you're still pretty darn essential. You may be single and a renter as well, but if your landlord is counting on you to meet the terms of your lease and pay your rent on time, you're an essential part of your community. That makes you an essential part of the greater economy. If you pay taxes, we're talking to you too, especially if you think your taxes are too high. Now, the latest Gallup poll shows the economy is, was, and forever will be the most important issue to voters.
Stay focused. Talk about things that matter. It's the economy, stupid.
Now, that's from the 1992 documentary, The War Room, about President Clinton and how he was able to surprise everybody during that election year and win. And it's fair to say that President Trump had a choice when it came to the way he handled the pandemic. It's even fair to call him a little nuts for the way he's gone about his business, like nothing was really wrong during these last few months. It's also true that he has the best health care in the world, and he should. He's the president of the United States. Now, if you agree with all of those things, you also have to agree that the images that the president produced around his hospitalization and his discharge do represent that populist spirit that got him elected in the first place. It's about the freedom to make the choice to go to work. The president is projecting strength here. Some might even see getting back out there and getting back to work as reckless and showing off. But it's also safe to say that the president has been personally impacted by his brush with a disease that's killed more than 210,000 Americans. We just talked about Texas Senator John Cornyn, who said the president took his eye off the ball. The fact is, most Americans do see getting back out there and getting back to work as dangerous but necessary. Americans don't have a choice when it comes to their jobs. They have to go back to work. They don't have the luxury that a former senator and vice president with 47 years of tenure in Washington, D.C. has to wait it out, just to be cautious. They don't have the option of burning down businesses and looting in protests of social justice when they also say it's not safe enough to vote or go to work. Now, White House press secretary, U.S. senators, they are pretty essential to the function of our government, no matter what party they belong to. Remember when the press corps used to complain about the lack of press briefings? Now, even though some of the members of the media and the left seem to celebrate the positive diagnosis of these Republicans, we should have mentioned they are essential too. They knew the risks and they worked around them anyway, just like that fictitious black woman Joe Biden was talking about.
And I was able to stay sequestered in my home is because some black woman was able to stack the grocery shelf.
Oops, he did it again. He revealed the soft bigotry of Joe Biden's low expectations for black Americans. There's not enough time for all the videos to show that Joe Biden is a soft bigot. But here's just one more that resurfaced recently.
But there's one more band member that I want you to meet. Ladies and gentlemen, our vocalist tonight, Michael Jackson. Michael, would you please stand? Thank you. Thank you very much. Soon to become Prince.
A reference to the token black member of that band there. Please clap, right? Well, whether it's President Obama, Kamala Harris, or the black Americans he targeted with the 1994 crime bill, or the voters of South Carolina who propelled him to the nomination, black people and black voters seem more abstract and functional to Joe Biden, utilitarian, more utilitarian than human. And as long as you help him in his political career, you're good. But if you're black and don't agree with Joe Biden, well, you know what he says.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
All right, well, let's talk now about this with host of the Benny Report, which you can catch right here on Newsmax TV, Benny Johnson. He's also the Chief Creative Officer of Turning Point USA. Benny, great to see you again.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on, John.
And I know, you're one of the guys like me who's willing to have this conversation about race, but we're not willing to be lectured by a guy like Joe Biden when it comes to how we should have this conversation, right?
Well, so you have this incredible paradigm right now that is happening inside of our country where anything that orange man does equals bad. And so if the president of the United States were to cure cancer, for instance, it would be seen as bad. Could you imagine if the President of the United States had said that poor kids are just as bright as white kids? That if you don't vote for me, then you're not Mexican or Latino or black or any race or Native American? Could you have imagined if our president had fought for mass incarceration and fought against super predators in the '94 crime bill?
Oh, Benny, we don't really have to imagine, right? Because we see how they, use the president's words from Charlottesville still 3 years later. They're still bending it and parsing it and twisting it like it's truth. And no matter how many times we play the clip which shows that's not what he said, that there are good people on both sides, they continue to perpetuate it. I mean, it's sometimes you wonder how long you can keep fighting these fights.
It's not just black Americans. One clip that regularly gets lost, and that was really something, that Michael Jackson clip, I had never seen that. That is just egregious. Something, and a terrible joke, by the way.
Right. It failed. And to say that you haven't seen a clip yet, I'm kind of honored, actually, quite frankly.
Listen, I am a coffee fan. I'm a Dunkin' Donuts fan. And there is a clip from earlier in the decade of Joe Biden saying that you can't go to a Dunkin' Donuts without an Indian accent.
Yeah.
It's not black Americans. It's legitimately all Americans. What about the campaign event just last week where he played Despacito into the microphone in this one of the most humiliating and cringe-inducing, awkward. And
as we pointed out then, Benny, obviously there's nobody in the Vance team that speaks Spanish because given the handsy approach that Joe Biden has taken to politics, breathing down a woman's neck slowly is not, I think, the image that Joe Biden wanted to portray. One more thing I want to talk to you about. One more minute left here. Last night, one of the Cuomo brothers had a meltdown watching President Trump return to the White House. I want to talk about this specifically. Here it is.
There he is, hair blown majestically, reshooting the scene for his own ad. I hold rallies, and I tell you to ignore masks, and I rip mine off as I vanquish the virus because I am a leader. Fear not, COVID. What a bunch of bull.
We've already asked for a wellness check on Jennifer Rubin over at the Washington Post. I think we're going to get one for Chris Cuomo, too. He's lost it. Considering the fact that he and his brother were joking about coronavirus, he was out gallivanting in the Hamptons. His wife was getting private yoga lessons while everyone else was under lockdown. Where does he get off?
Yeah, where do you get off? Where's the apology from Chris Cuomo to the neighbor of his in the Hamptons while he was looking at a new multi-million-dollar mansion? Where is the apology from him to his neighbor who he fought? A man on a bike who rode by, who recognized him and said, "You have COVID." And Chris Cuomo went and fought with him and got into a physical altercation while he was supposed to be quarantining. Where's that apology?
Right.
So before you cast a stone, let's go ahead and look at what kind of a glass house Chris Cuomo actually lives in.
Right. Save us the sanctimony, please, Chris Cuomo. Benny, yes. Great to see you. We'll see you on the Benny Report here on Newsmax TV Saturdays at 6:30 p.m. Looking forward to it, Benny. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Newsmax TV is now America's fastest growing cable news channel. We give you the real news you need. So subscribe to our YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up. If you like this video, share it with your friends. Newsmax TV streams live on YouTube for free. Newsmax TV, real news for real people.